Well, here we are once more. Another week has gone by. This time I'm not going to say that we're close to the sweet abyss of death, because we're actually going to the abyss today. That part of the elemental chaos that the shard of pure evil sank down into. Welcome indeed. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have not yet, please do like, subscribe, share, and all the other things. Boy, aren't I a YouTuber. We've got a really active chat already. We've got Tacty Platty here. We've got Bakey. You're a new face. Hello, Paladin Steve. You have reclaimed your powers. You are no longer Fighter Steve. Elven Maiden. Hello. Yes, we know exactly how the Elven Maiden feels about demons. The mod wife is in the house. She will indeed consume the avocados for me, for I am definitely too British for such things. There's Vicky, Mrs. Hill Jarrett, Mrs. Untold Destiny. Hello indeed. We got the couple of adventurers, my grandest champions, still with me after all this time. Amazing Gaming Productions. Hello. Have you reached the 1,000 followers on X yet? If you have not followed Amazing Gaming Productions on X, do so, because he is right by that 1,000 follower mark. And of course, we have the chaps and singular chapette for the stream today. Look, this stream is purely to appease the demon that is my Welsh mate. All right, this is Brass's stream today, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring him in. Brass, hello. Hello.
I was fucking about with so much audio settings just now. I have no idea if anything's changed.
You sound awful.
Nice. But nice. Is that normal awful or that's different awful?
Wrong microphone awful.
Okay.
Stand by. Technical issues. The brass dragon is having issues. Go ahead and put your X profile link in chat, AGP. Let's get you that extra follower. Let's get you to that 1,000. Nice round number. Right. Whilst Brass is messing with his audio issues, let me go ahead and go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh! Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. I am the token lady here today.
All right.
They added me last minute because they realized they didn't have anybody on representing the fairer sex.
They haven't got the quotas. Shit.
They should have gotten me, but I was available. So, hi.
Hello.
I'm Alyssa. I write books. Some of them are pretty good, I would say.
If I do say so myself.
If I do say so myself, I just focus on weird fiction, a little bit of horror, a little bit of science fiction, and a little bit of fantasy. And I've played TTRPGs since I was a kid. Variety of them, not just D&D, but everything from like Savage Worlds to Hollow Earth Expeditions, that kind of thing. So I play a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I am just excited to both give my 2 cents and learn a lot more about demons and devils, because I know that there is a difference, from Brass, who obviously knows more about this than me.
And might have fixed his audio.
Brass, speak to us.
Oh. No, he has not fixed his audio. We'll come back to him in a moment. I would like to just wish a quick good luck to the damnedest bastard who has to go and sort out a fire. Good luck. Bye, Crom.
Please be safe.
Indeed. And on a better news, the mod wife has just pushed AGB over that 1,000 number. Congratulations, sir. That is a difficult achievement. Once you get over the 1,000, things get a tad more... That was a badly constructed sentence. Bit easier. Right, let's see if he's fixed it. Mr. Brass Dragon?
Well, let's see, I don't know.
Bloody hell!
It says for some reason, I have no idea what's going on Restream. This is specifically, I literally listened to myself in my Yeti settings on OBS, Discord, and I was fine. Restream, specifically, just hates me.
That's fine, it's not alone.
Thank you for that AGP, by the way. You're earning that 1,000th follower today.
he's not entirely correct. Right, let's
We'll get into that.
we'll get into that. Brass, your audio shall suffice.
Yeah.
I have just turned you down a lot because you've gone from being dead quiet to dead loud. We'll see what happens with you throughout.
I see. Yeah. I minimize.
No.
I minimize shit. I've turned it down now. That's Windows 11. That was.
Ooh. You're right there, buddy. What's that? Lassie's down the well. I'm gonna bring in someone with better audio, and that's Richard Witters. Oh God, I misclicked. That's Richard Witters.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Richard Witters, and I only read Alyssa's books because all of their literature is lesser. That's what I say.
Thank you.
Oh, and I made demons. I drew demons.
Yes. No, you seemed like the natural guest for this, which is why your name's on the thumbnail, because you did the art for all the demon lords in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep.
Yeah, which is brilliant because I actually didn't know that about you until you've been on several streams.
Oh. I worked very late at night to finish those things.
I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, I put Demogorgon on the cover there because it's like you can't talk about demons without Demogorgon, who is far better than Orcus in every way, shape, and form.
Yes, I agree.
I think
Doubly
Brass is
good.
probably
2 heads.
Brass is probably screaming into his microphone about that, but
That's right. That's why you minimized him.
right, we have one more. One more. We have the foreteller of destiny himself, the creator of Untold Games, Untold Destiny, leader of I've fucked it up. Dean.
Hiya, Jack. Great intro. Just as good as my pitch. I love it.
Oh, you didn't need to do me like that. Yeah, no, Dean is here because Dean has lately become rather demonic himself. He killed Brass's character.
I think Brass did that all himself.
I did.
Oh, Brass actually sounds okay.
Look,
speak to us, Drake.
I have absolutely no idea what I literally went in my sound settings and I just started moving shit around. And now whatever I've landed on, it seems to be fine.
Yeah,
I haven't got a clue. Yeah.
Take a screenshot. Don't.
I have no idea. It doesn't even look different. My volume's on the exact same as it normally is. Like,
sounds like we got a demon in the system.
It's on like 72
That's what it is.
instead of 75. That's the only difference on me. I don't know. Well, it's working for now. I hope.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes. Just don't touch it.
All right.
Right. Chaps, token. We are here to discuss dark and evil things. And so before we do, I think it is best to say that this is called demonology. It is my professional opinion, as a man that was this close to being a priest, that you should not try and do demonology in real life. Bad things happen. This is all fiction. Let's keep it to the realms of fiction.
Why not?
Bad things happen. I just said I don't want to get into it. Demons, Brass. You just started your YouTube channel, and the first thing that you did was talk about demons.
Yeah, the audio's better than Restream.
Maybe you just need to clear your cache. Have you thought about that? Maybe you're the problem.
Yeah, probably.
So you tell us about the demons. You give us a crash course.
Right, I made a demon lord, specifically the demon lord ranking. Okay, Orcus is the best, and Kostich is the worst. That's about it. And also, Kostich is the only demon lord that Richard Witters didn't draw. Okay, all of the others were Richard Witters' artwork, but Kostich, I don't even know what he's from.
Daniel R. Horn did the best version of Kostichi. Is it Kostichi?
Was that the one with like the Roman legionaries?
What's that?
Was that the one with the Roman legionaries?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. I know things.
We did look at that. Yeah, okay, that was a good one. To be fair.
Yeah.
Kostich is
can't follow that.
We can discuss Kostich later on, but it's not that important. You know what? Let's quickly go just through the panel here, and we will everyone rapid fire. Give me your favorite demon lord, Alyssa. If you don't have one, just make one up. We'll test you quickly. Brass, I know yours, but for the sake of the stream,
Demogorgon.
you lying bitch.
That's Orcus. He's the best one. Okay.
Interesting thing about Orcus is I believe he was actually a Latin god of the underworld for the Romans. That is where our words for demons come from, as well as the Old English word for orc, which is now obviously a specific monster. This is educational. Mr. Witters, who is your favorite demon lord?
I actually think Zugitmoy. She was really fun to design.
Which one was Zugitmoy?
The fungus one.
She's
really?
Well, that was one of the ones where I really got to. She had a few different designs over the years, and I really got to redesign her. And I think she hit pretty well with people, so I liked her.
Yeah. Where did you put Zugitmoy in your tier list, Brass?
B, maybe
B tier.
C, slightly below Dweeblex, I'm afraid.
Is Alyssa
I'm
Googling
okay with
things
that.
as we speak?
I'm trying to remember because in my period of time that I've played Dungeons & Dragons, particularly 5th edition, please don't at me. I have played the ones that I've encountered were actually Orcus and the Demogorgon. So the only other one I encountered was Zariel, and I'm like, is Zariel a demon or devil? Don't want to embarrass myself in front of I can't embarrass myself in front of Winston.
So which one is it? Is she a demon or a devil?
I already Googled it, so unless I am not wearing my glasses, so I don't think she's in the running. So it has to be between Demogorgon and Orcus. And I think we beat Demogorgon pretty I don't want to say easily, but Orcus was the final boss of the campaign that we were in. And when I was playing the character, my original character died, dissolved, going back.
Disintegrate?
Disintegrated. I think it was Finger of Death. Very, very late into the campaign. So I talked to the GM and I'm like, listen, I want to make something that's going to be pretty easy to get back in. So we ended up making a warlock of Orcus who was trying to escape the pact, so to speak, going into the final thing. And all I did, and my character was named Mouse, and I talked in third person, like this little kind of schizoid, which was a lot of fun. So one of my favorite moments in that campaign, all I did was do counterspell and dispel magic. That was the only thing I did during that entire fight. I remember saying the phrase, you can't even kill a mouse. And so I have to go with Orcus because of the memory from that campaign. Fighting Orcus was probably one of the most interesting battles of that campaign. So I have to go with that.
Honestly, that's worse reasoning, much worse reasoning. And I think now we have Mr. Dean.
It's a wild one here, but Baphomet. Really love Baphomet.
That's a good, strong choice.
Mostly because I used them quite a bit in the last 5e campaign I ran, and the party had to go up against them. But it was a big army. They were organizing dwarves, massive battle in the Undercaverns in the Underdark. But the whole premise of it wasn't to actually kill Baphomet. They found a portal that led to the heart of his maze and where his heart was. So the battle actually took place in the middle of this maze against his guardians, whilst the battle raged outside. And how quickly they did their bit reduced the casualties to the dwarves who were fighting and just buying time outside to stop Baphomet getting to them. It was fantastic. And Baphomet, fantastic demon lord. Love him.
Very great gate battle outside of Bruma kind of vibes.
I might have put him in D tier.
Well, that just shows you call yourself an expert, Brass. I'm beginning to question that.
Look, he's just the worst Yanogu. Okay.
Look, Baphomet is the demon.
Yes.
It is actually, it's the great Satan. It is actually the goat-headed or minotaur-headed in this case.
Yeah.
It is the demon. So
that
you
is the
can't
only
really...
reason I didn't put him lower. I was like, look, he's got a recognizable name. He looks cool, but other than that,
Wow.
nah.
Let's quickly go ahead and acknowledge that the damnedest bastard is alive and well.
Yay!
It was a false alarm. We were all hoping for your safe return, sir. And I would say thank Crom, but Crom doesn't care. Crom cares not. There's a great little like radio play that I sent to the damnedest a while back, a long time ago now, where Crom gives a speech about why he doesn't pray or what he thinks about death and the afterlife, and it is really cool. I'll have to try and find it again. My favorite demon lord is Costich. No, it's not. No one's favorite demon lord is Costich. Oh, look at this! We Paladin Steve. $5 dues sought to be controlled by foolish demons. Sought to be controlled by foolish humans. Devils seek to take advantage of foolish humans. Actually, not a bad way of thinking about it there, Alyssa. If you need to remember, not a bad way of thinking about it at all. Thank you very much for the $5 due. For once, it wasn't Stug. I think that actually puts Steve directly. Puts him directly up in the top spot there. He has the #1 crown. Great! Straight away, Tacti Gladdy for the crown. Tacti, you gave me too much money on Monday. Please don't do this again. I will feel exceptionally guilty. And
You will take the money and you will like it.
That didn't get him the crown. It wasn't enough. Oh God, what is the internet making of me? Shadow, hello. Speaking of demons, WotC has promoted one that is taking them to a franchise model. I'm not getting into that shit. Not right now. This is my how I relax. I don't want to get my blood angry and boiling over what the Wizards of Thay are doing. No, not Costich. I'm sure we'll come to him. Poor Costich. I think my favorite demon lord. You see, I think just for style points, it's got to be Gratzt.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like Gratzt a lot because he's hot. No, I like the fact that he basically looks like a dude with a sword, but he's got 3 layers of the abyss to his name.
I will say, I do remember that art. Not for the reason you're thinking of, but I don't know. I think I was perusing one of the books because I was bored and came across him and like, that's interesting. Mental note of that, never used it again and never came across it again. But no, that was interesting.
I find he doesn't come up often, but he's one of the big 3. It's Demogorgon, Gratzt, and Orcus.
Well,
And
I'm wondering if, not to get hypothetical about what might actually be a reason and more, but I wonder if that's actually how he maintains his powers, that he doesn't get into a lot of conflicts and doesn't, like you said, he's like a dude with a sword.
yeah,
basically.
well, he's not this sort of frontline fighter dude, even though I think he is. Brass, where was he in your tier list?
He was an A tier.
Yes, I think he's got a lot of DPR.
Respectable.
He actually, I think he does the most damage in stats wise. The Demon Lords.
But he's this like smooth negotiator, tactful. He's the Darth Sidious. I've been on a bit of Star Wars kick lately. He's the Darth Sidious of the Abyss. I like the way he manipulates things. Brass told me a story about how he set up conquering another demon lord without a shot ever being fired by having one of his sons pretend to be a paladin of redemption and try to redeem that demon lord. And then that demon lord was redeemed in the end, but only because Gratz kind of orchestrated it all. Which was just insane to me.
He basically the Demon Lord was a former Celestial. It was a Planetar, and he wanted to redeem himself, and so Gratz sent his son, this Asimar Paladin, and they made friends. and they had this great relationship. And then after a while, the paladin gets captured by demons and put in this asylum. So the demon lord comes along, is like, my freedom in exchange for his freedom. So the gatekeeper agrees, yeah, absolutely, yeah, no worries. So they swap places, and it turns out the paladin was just Gratz's son the whole time.
Gratz has a lot of kids.
So that's probably why Gratz doesn't get involved in much. He's probably solving things like under the rug.
Yeah, he's 4D chess. He's big brain moves.
Though he did I'm not going to lie, he is the only one of the big three that actually has been captured by a mortal and embarrassed.
And he fell in love with that mortal because he was like, damn, I'm impressed.
Yep.
That was Tasha.
Yeah.
That captured him. So, that was a chosen of Mystara.
Or Igwilv, as she was at the time.
Was she a chosen then?
Haven't a clue.
Didn't she also capture another one?
Oh, no, there's been 3 of them that have been I'm pretty sure all by Tasha. Because there was Frazer Blue, the illusionist demon lord, and he got tricked by Tasha's master, or Igwilv's master at the time, because they did this ritual to summon him. They had this staff that was very obvious the conduit for the ritual. Oh, look, it's Winston.
It's the Prince of Demons.
That's what he looks like as well. He looks like him.
He said summoned.
Basically, right, so Frazer Blue steps through the portal, he sees the staff, he's like, well, I can see that thing's controlling the ritual. So he sort of like Jedi just snaps it out of the guy's hand and then breaks it. But it turns out the staff had an enchantment inside, which when broken, weakens the guy, and then, he got captured. And then Zugtmoy also got captured, and I have no idea how.
It just sort of happened.
They all got imprisoned under, like, Castle Greyhawk at some point or another.
Just throw out a Pokeball and...
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I've had a real hankering to go back and play the original Pokemon Gold lately. I honestly, we've oh. Yeah, no worries, man. Let me just murder him for a moment. There we are. I don't know where I'm going from here, to be honest, because we've done the demon lords. We got a favorite demon, like just an ordinary class of demon. I've got one, but it's a little bit brutal. I don't know if it's safe for YouTube. Brass, you got a favorite demon?
I like Baylors, but I feel like that's too obvious.
That's a solid pick. It's like
I actually like Mariliths.
They're cool.
Just mechanically, they attack so many times because they got so many arms.
Oh, Dean's left and he had Marilith artwork with him.
Oh, yeah, he did, yeah.
What about you, Mr. Witters? Any favourite demons?
I'd have to say Marilith, too. I'm usually going with what's fun to draw, and they're super fun to draw.
Is it because of the multiple arms, the snake tail, or the assets?
Yeah, just the whole thing. Like, the multiple arms is cool. You gotta work out all the multiple arms.
One of the coolest fights that Salvatore wrote about was Drizzt versus Marilith. Because it's like, 6 scimitars versus 2. It's a really cool matchup.
Did you know he has 2 Japanese chins like Winston?
You've told me this before, actually. Yeah, I did know this. I think the last time I brought up Salvatore, you're like, did you know?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Ashray, welcome to the stream. Nice to see you. Alyssa, were you Googling in the background again there?
No. Hands-free, I swear. I swear on Winston that I wasn't Googling. I'll be honest, I think most of the time, because there are people, when I GM, on the rare occasions I do know, most people that I play with know, I'm not saying they know too much, but they know just enough that I can't make a fight scene fun. So I usually end up reskinning or reflavoring something that is already available, or sometimes I end up looking up some of the supplemental material that is online to try to find something that hasn't really been used yet. So usually I end up pushing past like the mechanical of demon versus devil and end up moving in there. The one that comes to mind, and I think, unfortunately, I think it's an aberration, and I don't think it's a demon, is the Ublex. For some reason, Ublex comes to mind. I think it's an aberration.
It is, yeah.
I don't know why, but that's that the Swiss cheese of my brain that's the only thing coming to mind.
There
so
is a
I'm-
demon lord of slimes, but I think the Ooblexes come from mind flayers.
that does track, yeah.
Mind flayers are dumb.
Yeah, Jack
Don't-
doesn't like mind
I
flayers.
don't like mind flayers. Got a whole rant on it.
Yeah. Which is fair.
Someone in chat said Galbrazu, and they are really interesting.
I like the fact they're
Am
just
I allowed
like
to Google that?
they're like a big horse, and
Yes,
they have
you
clap
kind of have
pieces.
to understand what it is.
All right. Let me do this.
It's like a dog-faced crab demon that's bipedal.
That sounds like a jackal kind of thing.
No.
All right. Give me a second. Everything's moving so quickly.
Very
Alright.
strange demon.
All right, let me look him up. For some reason, Google's like, "Do you mean Galbaraz?" And I'm like,
It's
No.
I'm not actually sure they spelled that correctly.
"Okay, all right. Here we go. That's interesting."
Yeah. I can help. I can do a thing.
I love how it has like little tiny arms.
I've got little arms.
I don't know. I
There we go.
all right. I'm a little biased because when I was young, my dad would he had all these miniatures and he'd be like, "Oh, look, he's coming after you!" Ah! So like this seat looks like something that would.
This is the sort of thing my father would torment me with as a child.
Dad monster.
No, it's just like, I'm gonna get you, and it's just like, oh, he's just a little guy. For some reason, but I like his little arms. It looks like he uses them for like close combat. Like
It's
just
Winston as a Glabrazu.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
perfection.
Uh,
Winston takes many forms.
He does. He's looking put out right now.
so, Ashray, obviously, his favorite demon is a Yochlol. I couldn't have seen that coming, Brass. I don't know about you.
No, I would have thought it would be like, I don't know, a Marolith as well, but
Ooh.
Oh, why is Brass up there?
no,
Get
I'm the main
down from there,
character.
you.
I don't know why, but the Yochlol gives. I read part of The King in Yellow recently, and that's what came to mind first when I looked at the.
I think
the
it is
Yochlol.
inspired by that. Maybe.
Mhm.
There's a
The
really
Handmaidens
interesting.
of Loth.
There's a really interesting backstory to the King in Yellow in a literary sense. I think is it Hezer? Hey, Pac-Man, welcome.
Yeah. Yes. I believe.
And he
Hesper.
goes like the first version of him is quite benevolent, and then it
Mhm.
becomes more insidious. The King in Yellow is a really interesting figure.
Yeah, it's. I think what's interesting about the King in Yellow, bringing it back into the conversation topic, is that it's very interesting where it's almost devil-like, where it presents itself. It presents itself as this like simple, harmless thing, and then over a period of time, like supplants its will over whoever reads it or comes in contact with it.
That because it's like it makes you think that was always so.
Well,
Yeah, it's
kind of.
terrifying.
It brings out something in the person or in the environment or that kind of thing. So I think that's where the eldritch kind of nature of it in like the original text comes out, and I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to play with. I know Call of Cthulhu probably does it a lot, but it'd be interesting to try to move that into a Dungeons and Dragons kind of sense.
Funnily enough, there is a Lovecraftian horror that dwells within the abyss at the very bottom, but we'll get to him. Dean,
Yes.
not Demon Lord. Now that you're back and you've broken the cats up,
A demon itself. So I think Bakey mentioned my favorite, which is the Vrock.
the Vrock, really?
Yeah, I love Vrocks. They're
bird
fantastic.
demons.
Yeah.
There's
lots of them.
All right. I'm going to try to do this without Googling. So, is the Vrock the one that has like the scoop arms?
Like,
No,
like
it's-
big
it's
claws.
Close.
Like one
Yeah.
single
Not even
claw.
close.
You're
I don't know.
thinking
For
of
some reason,
Hook
I'm.
I think.
Yes. Okay. Then I'm just dumb, guys.
There you go.
Yeah,
Ah,
big
right.
wings,
Well, I heard,
almost vulture-like.
yeah. I went the entire wrong direction. I'm sorry, guys. I'm a
Well, hook
disappointment.
horrors do
I
have
am
bird faces, so
Yes.
they are.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I said you're close.
Yes, I am a disgrace to my uniform, and I'm gonna start owning that in the future. but he is. I love him a great deal now that I've gotten to know him. He's just a very nice lad, I think.
Ah! I don't know. I feel like this guy would kind of sound like yes, hello.
a little mid-Atlantic accent.
No,
Go
you're
on.
I've
like
got
Venture Brothers,
401k.
like Venture Brothers, like Vrock Sampson. Yeah.
Take it from me if you can. No, I can't do rock Samson. Anyway,
Brock
I
Sampson
do-
is the opposite of your accent, Jeff.
I
Yes.
do love how I did this, and you were like, "Oh yeah, the hooked horrors." That's what he's doing.
Well,
At
the
some point, we're
resemblance
just-
was uncanny.
Oh,
I
at some point, we're gonna have to do a charades
Charades.
of all Dungeons and Dragons monsters and see how all that goes.
why? What? I'm gonna get like herding cats. Why a rock, Dean?
Why? I just like them. There was
just-
something about them. There is a lot to choose when it comes to the abyssal demons, and I've used a whole number of them. I'm trying to remember. I forget the name. When I was running Pathfinder, there's one that's the assassin demon, big spider-like thing, and when you use the demon in the right way, they are absolutely vicious. But the Vrock are just simple. They flock, they swarm, they just rip you apart bit by bit. But at the same time, you get those rare Vrocks which are hyper intelligent, can be reasoned with, can be talked to. I even had the party have to. They're in the Outlands. They were finding the Palace of Light because they were trying to obtain information about someone who died, and all the spirits go through the Palace of Light. And part of this, they had to find this Vrock. He was a hermit, but found this demon, and the demon was very, quite hospitable. Made them a cup of tea, which they all drank without questioning. So, yeah. But Vrocks, I just like them. I think they're quite versatile.
Fair enough. We have a Rumble rant, which we're going to get onto in a sec from Mr. Jeff from Denkar for $2 dues. Thank you, Mr. Jeff from Denkar. But what I'm about to bring up actually will feed into your question. My favorite demon, I've never got to run one, but I like these a lot, just thematically. Is this one? This.
Ah, yes, me.
It's surprise!
It's why isn't this working? Let's try this again. This is a
Ooh.
Dragloth.
Oh yes.
I like him.
This Dragloth is a cross between a drow and a demon. It is important that I stress that what I am about to describe, very much like the demon that the drow video I made last week or earlier this week, where the drow are the ultimate test. If you can write about the drow in all their depravity, you can write about anything. Because what I'm about to describe is depraved and evil and demonic, because drow and demons.
Cover your ears, Winston.
You have been warned. Dragloth are, I believe, at least this is how I run them, Dragloth are the result of a ritual wherein a priestess or an aspirant of Lolth wanting to become a priestess is made to copulate with a demon, and this is the result. Now, it is, as far as I have read, a very violent coupling, let's say, and feeds directly into the way the drow do things. A lot of the ritualism and symbolism of the drow is sexually depraved. Which is why I say, if you can stomach writing about the Drow's darkest corners, you can write about anything. But the Dragloth are fucking cool. Look at him. He's badass. And that thing jumping into the middle of the party and tearing them apart is going to be a terrifying thing. But that actually brings us on to the next question. Brass is up again. Why does this keep happening?
I'm the main character.
Oh, we're here. Hello. Yeah, we'll do it like this for a bit. We have... Where are you, Jeffrey? There you are. This is a question that's come up a few times now. Brass, do you want to read that out?
Would you count Lolth more of a demon lord with godly traits or a god with demonic traits? The latter. Lolth is literally just a god that resides in the abyss. Her title of demon lord is very, very low down. To the point she is leagues beyond any of the actual demon lords. So Demogorgon, for example, is canonically the most powerful demon lord, or he's supposed to be anyway. Lolth is like tiers above him, like 2 tiers. She's a greater god or a greater deity. So yeah, she's not in the same sort of ballpark as the demon lords, unfortunately.
It's important to note that I think she was a goddess first and foremost, and when she rebelled against, I hate this god name, Corellon, the god king of the elves. When she rebelled against him, she went into the abyss, killed a spider demon, and just kind of took over and ate it. Basically, took that into herself. Yeah, so Lolth is a goddess first and foremost, and I think she actually is no longer in the abyss. I think she took the demon web pits and made it its own thing somehow. I think.
Oh, she's a god. Do what she wants.
I will say it would be an interesting twist in a D&D campaign that was set in the Underdark, that she is to make it maybe twist the canon a little bit, that she is, in fact, a demon that pretends to be some type of deity. And due to the structure of Drow society, it's very easy to control and manipulate these people. So I think it'd be an interesting like thriller or conspiracy sort of setup.
That would be a ground-up twist.
Yeah, where perhaps you and your party are Drow who have discovered this outrage, and even though you may or may not want to reveal it, because you now know, you have to escape the Underdark for your lives, because otherwise Lolth will send her assassins to kill you.
You need to write this down. It's a good idea.
Perkins and I had discussed a long like plot thread playoff from like Out of the Abyss, where it was actually, because that story is actually the demon lord showing up in the Underdark kind of thing. And we were going to have that Lolth kind of orchestrated that so that she could sort of seed the abyss in a way, and then plan like a long-term attempt to coup the abyss. Yeah.
So you know, Mr. Witters, I might have to ask you if you still have Mr. Perkins on tab, if I could have a word with him, because I have questions. But that I won't push on that, because that is rude, and we don't do.
I can see. I'm not sure what he's up to lately. I haven't texted him in quite a while.
Working for Mr. Mercer now, isn't he, Matt Mercer?
Yeah.
No, I've got a lot of very intriguing questions for Mr. Perkins, because I was actually one of the people that liked 4E.
Let's see if I can poke him.
All right.
Wow. The connections that are made through the internet. Jeez.
Okay, side note. Is it worth doing a one-shot in 4E? Because I've never played 4E.
No.
I only know it by reputation.
It would be an 8-hour one-shot, okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And that's just
mind.
making the characters.
I can't stay up that late. I gotta.
My view of 4th edition, I think, is very rose-tinted. when you go into 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons, you have to accept that it is not Dungeons and Dragons like you know it. It functions incredibly differently. Skill challenges are different. Combat is incredibly different. You don't really have attacks. You have powers. It suits itself to being a board game, not really the sort of free flowy TTRPG kind of game. But then again, I still played it for years, so did something right.
It's a little more grid based.
Bakey says for therapy because I like 4E. I need more therapy than that. Therapy doesn't work. Spicy takes. Dean.
Yeah.
You're being awfully quiet and considered again.
I'm just enjoying hearing what other people have to say. You know me, Jack. It's it's nice to listen to the conversation.
I know, but we bring you in to do things. Like, I'm going to poke you with it. Do something.
All right.
Come on.
All right.
You mentioned 4E, and jeez.
PTSD flashbacks.
It is.
What's worse, Dean, to run 4th edition or Pathfinder 2E?
Oh, Pathfinder, by far.
There you go.
Easy. 4E in comparison is a breeze to run. If you're going in and the premise of the campaign is you're a tactical group, you're managing a guild or an operation, something like the Flaming Fists, I think 4E would be fantastic. So you have your roster of people, heroes that you can play. And then based on the kind of missions or the problems you're investigating, you decide which one of that roster you take in. The whole party choose their group. The squad then goes forward.
Yeah, we're getting back-to-back fantastic campaign ideas here.
Yeah. I think it would work really well. Yeah.
You know what would be even cooler? Combine the two. So get Alyssa's Drow idea, your 4th edition idea, and you're actually an enclave of Drow that are heretical, quote-unquote, that believe Lolth to be a demon rather than an actual goddess. And this enclave of Drow has different characters that you create, and then you can decide which Drow go out to do which missions, and you can make it high lethality.
Oh, you can.
It's XCOM Underdark.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
It reminds me of like the Meat Grinder Dungeon Crawl Classics kind of stuff, where you have like a bunch of 0-level characters, and you just see who survives by the end.
Have you? You said you lost a character, Alyssa. In terms of you had a death there.
Which the what's it the
one prior to Mouse.
Oh yeah. So it was my first character with a group that had been going on for a while. So of course, trying to be like kind of, I'm joining the campaign midway through. I don't know you guys. Let me be helpful. I made a cleric, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, I was actually genuinely sad when she died because it was like. It's very sudden. But again, I was like, okay, don't cry.
How many characters have you lost?
Yeah, oof. Maybe a couple.
How many characters have you killed?
Right now, post-COVID, there was a lot of like, I call them like short-term aborted campaign stuff just because of how COVID affected a lot of things. Can we say COVID on YouTube?
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Anyways, but, 5 years later. But right now, I kind of, when I can run, I usually do one-shots because it's like, okay, it doesn't really matter what happens. And I don't get to do it that often. But the closest I came to killing a character, my poor husband. We were playing Shadow Dark. I need an extra player. My very sweet husband, instead of playing the new Black Ops game on launch day, decided to join us.
The things we do for our wives, he says, looking over at his wife.
We were playing Shadow Dark, and I love rats for a low-level campaign. They're my favorite.
Did you get a Master Splinter?
He got ambushed by a rather large rat and got one-shotted. And he spent like an hour of the campaign just lying there on the brink of death. And so his brother and my friend Kiara ended up being able to like revive him later. But it's like, thank you, honey, for joining me for this Shadow Dark one shot where a rat nearly murdered you.
These are the memories we make.
Uh,
These are, I was known as a soft touch DM for a while, right up until I decided to take the gloves off. And a player 2 weeks ago, his wizard died, and it was very close to the start of the session. So he was like, "Yeah, roll initiative."
It was 2 weeks ago.
This is 2 weeks ago. This character death.
That same week, my wizard almost died. Actually,
well, this one did die.
Well, no. Technically, I did die, but thankfully,
Revivify?
a demon actually owed me a favor. So
squeeze the soul back
Oh,
in there.
what sort of demon was it?
What sort of demon was it? Yeah, back then.
Okay, all right. So, I actually, in character and out of character, don't quite know, which makes it far more interesting.
Yes.
So, trying to make it a quick recap so I don't steal the floor. But a while back, pre some actual character deaths, like my between my brother-in-law and my husband has died. He's on his third character now in this one campaign. And my brother-in-law is on his, I think he's on his second character. So they have just had the worst luck when it comes to this Pathfinder campaign. So,
Pathfinder Dean.
So here it's 1E. So my wizard, we leave with this white dragon. So it's like, okay, we're gonna fight this dragon. The gal who plays the bard, who would have buffed us, is like, oh yeah, I'm out this week. I'm on vacation. I'm like, okay, so we're down one person.
That's how it always begins.
Then everybody except for myself and the archer, who's my brother-in-law, is feared. So I make the brilliant decision that I should attack the dragon without a meat shield anywhere nearby. So I get my newly purchased Rod of Metamagic, aim a nice meaty fireball at the white dragon, and it connects, and it does pretty well. And then the dragon locks in, sees me, swoop down, picks me up like Dungeons and Dragons. Like, you remember the cleric from Dungeons and Dragons, the second Dungeons and Dragons movie from way back then, the one that went straight to DVD?
Yep.
Swoops up, picks me up. We go higher and higher. I'm planning on how to try to like negate this
Featherfall.
I don't have Featherfall right now, and I'd
Gravity
already
Gain.
we didn't long rest before this fight. So I'm trying to figure out how to do this, and my brother-in-law, bless him, shoots the dragon, and I start falling.
Oh.
I hit the ground, and I'm just like, well, that was a lot of damage. And the DM's like, you remember you still have that like get out of jail free card with the demon, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm punching that right now. So I just lie there for a round, like I don't want to get this attention anymore. And then eventually I get up, fire a couple magic missiles, and the dragon dies. So
at least you beat it.
At least it basically looked like a cat had just picked up this like chew toy, wiggled it around, and then tossed it. So I'm actually, unfortunately, now I have to deal with the ramifications of something called a Faustian mark that's now on my wizard. So,
good.
Nice.
I'm
that
like,
can't possibly go wrong.
Yeah, so now I'm going to my husband. I'm like, yo, half orc. Could you
Faustian
possibly
bargains always work out good?
Could you possibly fix this for me? We're in the middle of a dungeon, so I'm hoping sooner rather than later that's gonna get fixed, because that might lead to some consequences. And
yes,
why should my highborn elf wizard have to deal with the consequences of her actions?
Never.
Never.
Although, yes, Stug, welcome. We do indeed have high tier guests today. My wizard was far less interesting because he went up to a hag, got lightning bolted, forgot that he had counterspell, went down, and then a stone giant went over and finished him. So yeah, he was a frog wizard, so he was just turned into a fine roadkill, like a paste.
And nothing of value was lost. I could have saved. I was the paladin of the group. I could have saved him, and I was like, I actually don't want to waste my action. I'm just going to attack the hag.
Also, Bakey said he had a character called Harkle Harple. That's based. No, the Harples are great. I like those characters. More Legend of Drizzt stuff. People that haven't read those books. We were talking about demons, and there was character death. Alyssa was eaten by a dragon, and then she wasn't.
Well, to bring it back to demons, I am interested because, not to get topical, and Jack, you can exit it if you want, but right now, subversion of demons and devils, aside from the typical good evil archetype, has been one of the hot topics recently. So my thought is, how do you make demons and devils interesting without either saying there is no good or evil, or entirely doing a black and white scenario? So I'm interested to hear what you guys, how you make them interesting without necessarily going one way or the other.
I don't think there's any issue with having them being intrinsically evil.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that thinks that intrinsic evil or alignment or cosmically good or cosmically evil is plenty interesting, and you don't need to go into this gray area of morality in order to create an interesting character, because a lot of the time that gray character is quite ham-fisted and simply becomes evil but with extra steps. So I might not be the best person to answer this question, because I can be overly critical, let's say. I think, I would say that intrinsic evilness is fine.
Okay.
I think you're referring to maybe specifically the Devil May Cry interpretation of demons.
Well, there's the Devil May Cry, the Has Been Hotel thing has been all over the timeline recently.
I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to having a demon that is maybe helpful, but still a demon, or maybe a demon that wants to redeem. There's plenty of if you want to have it taken seriously and it's not like an anime or something like that, making demons stand-ins for real world cultures and events. People know my stance on this. I'm apolitical fantasy all the way. I think it's rubbish writing. I think it's utter trash here. If you wanted to do that, though, have you actually written something interesting, or have you just made a political point?
That's true.
I would be interested in hearing other people's opinions, though, and then we have some super chats and rumble rants to have a look at.
I wrote a big thread about that a long while ago now. But I was more talking in context of D&D specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the fact that, say, demons are chaotic evil, and you can break that trope, like break with type. Like, you have to have the type to kind of break the type. Mm-hmm. So if you kind of say, like, there's wild tigers, and you're like, okay, tigers are wild animals and they're dangerous. When you have a character that has like a trained tiger, you're like, that's really cool. But if they're just kind of mixed, some of them are completely domesticated when you meet them in the wild, and some of them aren't. And if that's a good analogy, I don't know.
Yeah. And I mean, it would apply a different level of caution to every interaction, because you cannot assume can't assume a level of danger, because a domesticated tiger is still a tiger.
And you're setting the world kind of expectations, where it's like, I think in that, like, the perspective of the group, or setting the world building. That's what I was going to say, though. Like, if you were writing a novel or making a cartoon and you set the expectations up differently, then it's all about how you set your lore. Yeah. For D&D, I was like, well, the lore has always been this. You can always either make exceptions or rewrite a setting to do it differently, and that's like your hook. But the default is there just to sort of make a smooth, dip in.
It's a it's a good way of, if you say demon, there's enough mythology behind that that most humans will know that you mean bad. So it's a
Yeah.
really good way of I always struggle on this word. A good way of getting a lot of information across very quickly in a very small word.
As, like
Yep.
a condensed
Content
summary.
martelite. Fuck's sake! I was saying this word fine earlier on. Someone else talk. Dean, what do you think?
Oh, right. Well, if we take D&D, devils, demons, Yugoloths, everything in between have to be evil, because the wheel of cosmology is your alignments, and they are strict. You can't break them. That doesn't mean you got exceptions, Cambians, tieflings. There are a number of exceptions to that rule, but that doesn't mean the rule isn't that rule, which is when you're on the planes, alignment is everything. Every faction belongs to a certain alignment, and that is the law of the planes. You could play a character without an alignment in D&D quite easily, especially under 5th ed, but you cannot get rid of that cosmological wheel and the shifting alignment across the planes. It's what everything hinges on. From my point of view, so when I was doing Untold Destiny, I was thinking of the place demons have. And Jack, you've been playing, so you know the premise is you play paragons who are, their spirits have been reborn. So within the aether plane is spirit energy. When someone's born, it attaches to that body, it lives that life, and then when the person dies, it returns back to the aether. When this happens enough times, that spirit energy becomes slightly aware of itself, and then eventually it becomes fully aware, and that's when you can reach ascension. So the spirit frees itself and becomes an entity within the ethereal. If that spirit energy has led a really cruel and horrific life, every time it gets reborn, those imprints get stronger and stronger. And this is where you get some of the most terrible people in history. They're the result of these spirits being reborn that are just full of cruelty and malice. When they then ascend, they become demonic. So they realize the power they have. They become a free entity within the aether, and then there's only one thing they want. They want to get back to the physical world to wreak havoc, to cause chaos, to destroy, because they have become so addicted to the misery that they create. And this can be through tempting people, possession, through building occults, through rituals that will weaken the barriers between the two worlds and eventually allow them through. So, I think when you talk devils, demons, anybody with any sense will immediately jump to evil. And anybody who tries to play the grey card, well, call them something else then. If they're not evil, come up with a name, come up with an interesting concept. Don't try and steal something that's so well established.
Subversion, as you said, Alyssa.
Yeah.
Interested in Brass's take?
Well, look, my opinion is this. So a lot of this idea of devils and demons being morally grey, or even the good guys, right? And flipping it around and angels being the bad guys, I actually think a lot of it comes from anime. Because anime has a lot of very specifically Christian, but anti-religious.
I think it comes from Reddit atheism.
Well, that too, yeah. But Reddit, where do you think the Redditors get it from? Right,
the anime. Yeah,
they're all weeaboos, okay. And so we watch like 7 Deadly Sins, for example. And you got the angels, and they're all just dumb, evil, like authoritarian. They always show up, and they just think they're right about everything, and then they get proven wrong, and they go mad. Whereas the demons are like, oh, we love freedom. We love like anarchy and freedom. You can do whatever you want, sort of thing. And you can get deeper into it. You got the whole like, oh, Lucifer wasn't evil. He actually cared about humanity and all that sort of thing. I don't really give a shit. But at the end of the day, my opinion is demons and devils are the actual embodiment of evil. So there are monsters you can use if you want a morally grey monster. Right, or a misunderstood monster,
like a human.
Look at Frankenstein's monster. For classic
Terrifying
example,
book.
right?
Terrifying.
You can have dragons. I know in D&D they kind of have to be the good and evil because that's the cosmological alignment. But even then, in D&D lore, both chromatic and metallic dragons had slaves in olden lore and all that, and they were using them to fight against each other in wars. But nowadays, obviously, you can have a dragon that's misunderstood. But demons literally are evil manifest.
Yes.
Like there's
The
no two
essence
ways
of,
around it.
Spiritually, the essence of.
Whereas the same with like Celestials are the idea of good manifest, right? So I don't like them being morally grey either. In the same way.
I was on a Wick TV panel months ago at this point where I was trying to world build for a a progressive gentleman, and I was trying to the scenario I built for him was look, you are a young man. You were in the north. You were on the fringe of Icewind Dale, so this is rough territory. Not quite the roughest, but quite rough. Small hamlet, very close-knit community. Your fiancé, who you've already knocked up, you naughty boy, but the marriage is soon, don't worry, is asleep in the house behind you, but it's a cold night and you're on watch. You see a band of 20 goblins approaching your village. What do you assume? And it's this idea, like you can tout these no inherent evil races all you like, or no inherent evil entities all you like, but if the world building demands it, as you were saying, Richard, that if the world building demands it, you need to ring the alarm bell and kill the goblins. It doesn't matter if you think they're traitors. Goblins in this environment, in this world, and you've got your pregnant wife-to-be behind you, you get to killing the goblins. You ask questions later. We actually have some super chat to get to. People have waited very patiently. Mr. Jeff from Denker for $2 dues over on Rumble says, what's the panel's opinions or I think he means opinions, autocorrect, on the Blood Wars? The players' role in it and how it all fits into your games. It's dressing for me. I hardly ever touch on it. You guys?
I like the idea of the Blood War, but yeah, it's a background thing. I mean, if you ever do a campaign where you get directly involved, I honestly would not expect the player characters to have any meaningful difference in a war of that scale.
Yes.
Like, even if you take out a Demon Lord, they just reappear. So...
This was one of my problems with the openings to Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, the third act is probably the messiest of the three, and that's a shame because they end the second act fairly well. And then they're like instead of like it being going straight to battle, it's like
it's another act. I didn't actually I booted up my old save because I finished Act 2. I never did Act 3. I did boot up my old save. I was like, let's play it. And then
it's worth finishing to the end at least once.
Agreed.
But
I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. But you said we had some more super chats?
Yeah, well, let's get everyone's opinion on this one first. The Blood War. You know much about the Blood War, Alyssa?
I'll be honest. I heard a dial-up noise. They said Blood Wars, so I will abstain courteously.
No worries. That's the war Karlak was fighting in under Zariel.
Oh.
Mass amounts of demons and devils fighting each other.
I feel like unless you are creating a campaign specifically in that environment, I don't think it really has much to do with the plane that you're currently on.
Agreed. Yeah. Mr. Witters?
For me, I've never really used it like in a game or anything. I remember we talked about it. We talked about some things like that for one of the books. And the biggest thing to me was in what was it? Oh, now I forget the name of the book just because I'm old. But it was going to be Demons Against Devils.
Yeah.
And I was kind of pointing out that if I printed out all the pictures, I actually did print out all the pictures of the demons and devils and threw them on the floor and said which one is which. And people couldn't really tell. So in that book, we tried to give the devils like this sort of Roman gladiator-esque armor bits.
That's cool.
and things like that. And the part of the reasoning behind that was if they went to war, the devils are lawful evil, so they have like phalanxes and tactics like that, whereas the demons just have giant barfing demons that barf other demons. You know?
Yeah. That's Yinagu's stick, isn't it? His pet.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Max Dunbar designed that crazy thing.
Dean, the Blood War.
Yes.
Ever go into that?
The Blood Wars are quite an interesting concept. When I was running Planescape, second edition, the Blood Wars is always that background noise you have in the planes. It's always there. It's always present. When the party, they were playing planar people, so they were kind of brought up on the planes. So Sigil, as I've been told it's pronounced. When you go to the City of Doors, it's very present there. You're going to have devils and demons walking the streets, and you will sense the animosity between them, but they can't fight. The Lady of Pain doesn't allow it. But you get that real world building that you can layer into your campaign, that constant threat that the party always know there's something happening. There's this great animosity. And then you get the Yugoloths who play the middle side. And, you know, they're making money from both sides and joining both sides at the same time. I've always loved it as a concept. You can't build a campaign around it, but you can use it in a campaign. And I remember a very memorable session where the party gated to where they thought they were going one place. The gate wasn't correct. It took them to I think it was Archon, the one with the big cubes and the shifting objects, big metal objects. And that's where a lot of the Blood Wars take place. So they witness these huge regiments of devils moving up against hordes of demons. And they were trying to just stay out the way whilst they found another portal to get out of there. But you can build these bigger than life, these grand scenes and scenarios.
That's because the afterlife.
Yeah, absolutely. The party are never going to get involved in. It's just too big. It's too. I mean, it's been going on for almost an eternity, and it will continue to go on for an eternity.
Or at least until Asmodeus deems it time. Anyway, let's quickly get on to a $5 reduced super chat because I realise we're coming up on half past the hour. For $5 reduce, a couple of adventurers saying there is no good or evil is boring. I agree. Going black and white can still be interesting because deception is a thing. Plus, one of the greatest stories told in the last 100 years was, what was it called? Oh, yeah, The Lord of the Rings, which I'm quite sure is very black and white in terms of its morality. So,
is that a comic book or something?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if it was butchered into one at some point.
Well, talking of deception, within the Silmarillions, it talks about how Sauron deceived everybody when it came to creating the rings. He was the great smith, and he taught them lore and stuff like that. He earned their trust before betraying them.
And for me, when I was asking the question earlier, I just thought it'd be an interesting springboard. I think that demons and devils are almost better regulated as almost a plot device rather than an entity of its own in a lot of campaigns. I think that the squabbling that is created around the demon is usually far more interesting than the demon itself.
Yeah.
I had a thought for a campaign once about this location kind of sandbox thing where the characters are all around this essentially a crack that's almost a portal to hell that was cleared mostly by paladins, so you can go down and like find different things within it, like artifacts and everything, but you still have to deal with the strange energies that result of this literally being a tunnel into hell as a result of being there. So I really think that just for me personally, I think there is a lot to be found in the big paladin going against, like, because I love Doom, so but I think almost like with the ring with the Lord of the Rings, like the interesting part is about what's going on around it, like how people are interacting with it rather than necessarily the ring itself, if that makes sense.
Agreed. I would hesitate to call it a MacGuffin, but the MacGuffin is not the interesting part of that story. Yeah. I will let Brass quickly explain to you his vision of a paladin, because Brass is the paladin man.
Look, what you said about the Doom guy, he is the paladin. I normally compare paladins to space marines. They just show up, big armor, anything in their path they don't like the look of, gone, right? And I think Doom Guy, yeah, that's what I imagine a paladin. He's just wading through hordes of demons, hordes of undead, hordes of whatever you want. Unstoppable force.
There you go, Alyssa. You are brass approved.
Yep.
Yay!
We've got another super chat, and then we will think about wrapping things up. Where was it? I've lost it. Oh no! It was Stug for $2 dues. No Baneloth love. Shaking my head. I don't know that one.
Yes, you do. It's the one you literally said was your favourite demon earlier on.
Oh, is that? You mean the Dragoloth?
Oh, Dragoloth. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, maybe it's a different thing.
Maybe it could be the same thing.
Baneloth. Let me look that up. I'm looking.
You look that up.
I thought so. It's a Yugoloth, not a demon.
Is it?
Well,
It's not. It's not the fox one.
It is.
By the way, in terms of Yugoloths, Slards are awesome. But I'm just going to leave that out there.
That's not a Yugoloth.
I know, but they fight Yugoloths, don't they? They're like the opposite of a Yugoloth.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. They look like horse-headed dudes.
A little bit, yeah. They got the kind of chompy. They're thought to be Yugoloths. They also thought to be demons, but they're from the Grey Wastes, so probably a mix of both.
Pretty sure
I did a Piscaloth.
What?
I like Piscaloths.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I am not up on my Yugoloth stuff. Yugoloth they have a really weird spot in the lore. They kind of occupy that strange area of what are you?
Yeah.
Did any of you guys ever play Demon Stone for the PS2?
No.
That's a great game. It revolves around a war between Slards and Githyanki. It's cool. Really cool. It's like just a hack and slash game. It's really cool. Look, guys, we're coming up on the half hour, so we're going to go through a quick round of plugs. Miss Hazel, ladies first.
Aw, shucks. I am on Twitter at Alyssa Hazel with 3 S's. I have a book coming out in less than 10 days. It is my 8th book, and it is a sequel to my most my first novel, actually. I'm kind of excited about it. It's for those of you interested in today's conversation, it does feature an entity that essentially functions as a demon in space, like
Demons in space.
like a demonic eldritch parasite, kind of that sort of thing. So, if that's up your alley, I would recommend keeping an eye out for the second initiative, which I am very proud of. It's been a lot of work.
What day is that dropping?
July the 19th.
So that is Saturday next week.
Yeah.
So you guys should go and follow Alyssa on the link I've just dropped in chat, and put the little bell icon on there as well, so you don't miss when that drops.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Mr. Witters, you were entitled in this stream, immortalized. This is obviously your greatest achievement, is being on this show.
It is.
So why don't you go ahead and tell people where they might find you? And also, you should draw some more drow, sir, because you're very good at that particularly.
Oh, I'll do more drow.
Drow.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter under that name that's under my face.
And it's also in chat.
And I'd like to plug Alyssa's books, which are quite good. Dean has been working diligently on his own game, and you can see playthroughs of it on Jack's channel, and I think that's awesome because you can tell he's working his butt off on that.
You're too wholesome.
And the Brass Dragon has a new YouTube channel, which I haven't checked out yet, but now I have to.
I do,
and you should too. There's
Well,
my plugs.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Yeah, and if you have not liked and subscribed, now is the best time to do so. Thank you. Draconians actually is a very good shout, Bakey. You should draw more Draconians. And I need to finish reading the Dragonlance Chronicles.
How
Dean...
about the Brass Draconian? How about one of those? Okay.
Dean,
they're evil. Don't go there. So you can find me on X. As Richard has kindly said, I have developed a game called Untold Destiny. We're in the final part of balancing, and I'm taking Jack, Brass, and soon my wife through a campaign that Jack will be hosting on his channel.
Indeed.
We've also on YouTube under Untold_Destiny. On there, we've got another series we're doing called Business Unusual, which focuses more on the eldritch side of Untold Destiny and how skills like history and investigation are absolutely integral in taking down cults that try and draw these entities from the deep ether to come into our world and to draw their power from them. It all revolves around a book and a mysterious symbol. So head over there to have a watch of that. And thank you, Jack, for the show. Thank you, Richard. Thank you. Alyssa. Sorry. Do you know what? I got a bit of dyslexia. And
no,
the
it's
words
fine.
were jumbling.
I set up
that was really bad.
I set up my name specifically to mess with people. That's why I put an extra S in my Twitter
Yeah,
handle.
it was the extra S.
It gets
kept
me
jumping around.
Well, okay. There's a slight story behind that, but
for another time.
Okay. In penance, I will be certain to look at one of your books because I love sci-fi. So I'll definitely give that a look. And Brass, I don't know.
We'll never know.
Him in the corner.
Go on, Brass. You can put your own link in there. You lazy.
Right, look, I've started a YouTube channel. Here it is. I'm going to link it in the chat a few times. Spam the chat. There we are. Look at that. Right. I've got like 3 videos at the minute. I've got a Demon Lord tier list ranking video. That was my first video, exactly. Orcus is number 1. I've got opinions on player character deaths in D&D or any TTRPG for that matter. And I am currently working on, right now, I'm editing the Black Dragon video. It's going to have like a little bit more effort put into it than the other videos. Some like very intermediate to beginner level editing. And it's going to be a banger.
And no one will watch it because it's not a tier list.
Yeah, true. I'll just do a dragon tier list straight afterwards.
Wow.
And brass dragons are Welsh?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it specifically because Jack said no one's gonna watch it. You're gonna have one view.
The reverse psychology. It's
thank
functioning.
you very much.
I tried.
Chapettes, you already know who I am. I am Jack Lost Scholar. Thank you very much for joining us this evening for yet another midweek fantasy fix. Guys, I really appreciate all of you coming. I enjoyed this talk. I needed it because today at work was horrible. There was not enough fantasy talk in the office, and this has been a highlight. I enjoyed this.
Good.
If you have not clicked on those links in chat, you should go and click on those links in chat. As